What's up, YouTube? Bobbles and Ball Cards back with another video. Hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend out there. Hope your week started off great today on this Monday. Want to throw a huge shout out to everybody that watched the recap videos, all the new subscribers and everything. I was not expecting that at all. I'll be honest, I've never really done show footage like that. I took a little bit at the National, and I've recorded a little bit here or there at Chantilly, but I'm glad to see folks enjoyed it. Gives me faith that I did something right. To everybody that messaged me privately, whether it be texting me or instant messenger or whatever, and saying how much they enjoyed it, I really do appreciate that as well. So wasn't sure how it would go, but it looks like I did something right, so that's always awesome to hear. Tonight's video, I just want to go real quick and actually show the pickups, because I kind of talked about them, but I didn't really show them. And then I also want to touch on something that I wanted to give like its own little topic of sorts that I was noticing at the show, and that would be regarding graded cards, grading in general. So I'm going to start off showing off the pickups. I've taken them out and put them in card savers, the Griffeys I bought. So I'll pop up like I have a photo of them where they were priced, and then maybe I'll pop up the recent sales. But anyway, let's get to it. So I bought this one. This is a Pacific Cooperstown bound. I paid $5 for this. Had zero clue. If there's an insert and I know I don't have it, or even if I do have it, but if it's priced at $5 or $10 or whatever, I really don't care. Even $15, I'll usually just go ahead and buy it. So pick this one up, $5. Looks to be in pretty good shape. So that is the Cooperstown bound. Sorry, I cannot talk. From Pacific. And then these are the two atomics. I'll show you these better. This is the International, the Bowman's Best International Atomic. And this one was priced at $150. And then this is the other one. This is actually the preview, the Bowman's Best Preview Atomic. And this one was priced at $100. So I wound up getting both of them for $150, and I'll post the prices up. I'll flip them up somewhere on the screen to show you guys. But this one, the recent sale I had found was $80, and this one was $57. So combined would have been $137. Say call it $140. The guy finally, after I talked to him on Saturday, I went back Sunday, asked him, hey, you still holding strong on the prices? I see you have these on eBay, because he did have them listed on eBay. I was like, I'm willing to buy them, but I need a more reasonable price, or realistic price. So we talked about it, and finally he was like, well, what if I give you $150, buy the one at $150, I'll give you the other one free. And at that point I was like, I'm not even going to argue that, because at $137, you toss in shipping and all that other stuff, it was likely going to be roughly $150 anyway. They were right there. I liked the cards, so I went ahead and gave them $150 on these. So those were my three Griffeys, $155 total on them. Now, the only other thing I picked up at the show was this. So this is a stack of like base Star Wars Galaxy cards, but it had these, which are refractors, and then these all are refractors as well. I have them separated for a reason, but so these are all refractors and stuff as well. So the guy had all this in a box, but nothing, there was no prices on the box. So I asked him, I was like, you know, what are the prices on this stuff? He's like, it's all different. He's like, what are you looking at? I showed him, and he's like, I don't know how much is in there, but everything that's in there, you can have it for 20 bucks, the whole stack. And I was like, okay, sold. So I was kind of expecting that. I counted through, see how many refractors it was. And I was kind of expecting maybe, you know, $2 to $3 average on all of them. And then, you know, obviously at 20 bucks, there was, I think, exactly 20 refractors in the pile. So I was thinking in my head, you know, even if I got $2 a piece, that's $40. I'm paying $20 for the stack, you know, whatever. So I knew, and once again, I also already have this set. So even if I didn't sell these, it's a cool set, and I could work on making another set. So I also had that in mind. It's a small set, so it wouldn't be that difficult. I have the Kurosawa, which is the expensive one. So I actually have 2 Kurosawa, so you know that would have already been knocked out. But anyway, I took these out. I've already priced them. This one, I believe it's this one here, has already had recent sales of $17.50 and $20 by itself. This stack right here comes in at just under $100 on recent sales. So that $20 purchase was well worth it. You know, smart. I told you guys in my thought video that I was going to try to see if anything stood out to me that I could buy to potentially make a little bit off of. Kind of as a little challenge, get into that, hey, when you spot a deal, grab it. That way you know you can move it. This was my, okay, this makes too much sense to say no to. So I bought it, and sure enough, I was right on it. So that's not always going to be the case. I do struggle getting into that mindset to look for things to buy, to resell, or whatever. So it was nice recognizing that and kind of knowing, you know, in the back of my mind that even if they were only $2 a piece on average, that I was going to be okay buying the whole stack at 20 bucks. I still have this stack that I might just lot up. I don't know, 10 bucks or so on this one. So this right here, just this area should be well over $100. And then I still have, I could always work on, see about building a base set maybe, because I don't have that. This was not a show pickup, but this was an eBay purchase. I was on eBay looking at some of my favorite Ravens players of the past and came across this. It is the gold parallel from National Treasures. It's the rookie signature Haloti Ngata. The autograph is missing a little bit, little light there on the end, but it's numbered out of 52. So Haloti Ngata NT rookie auto gold parallel. I picked this up for 25 bucks. So it was right after I did the retail video and talking about how much blasters are. You know, blasters are $35. And I figured, you know what, there's a prime example where I'm getting potentially one of the best. Now, he might have some other better ones. He might have a Contenders parallel or something like that. But to pick up one of Haloti Ngata's best rookie cards at less than what a retail blaster would cost me right now, that was a no-brainer. You know, Ngata was a key cog in that Ravens defense, so definitely someone I'm excited to add into the collection. So anyway, all right, let's go into thoughts from the CSA Chantilly Show as far as grading and graded cards. First thing I want to mention as far as grading companies in attendance, unless I missed them, which I walked that floor quite often and I did not see anybody else, the only companies I seen present were Beckett and HGA. And I did find that really odd. The last show, CSG was there. They had a pretty large booth there. And I was kind of expecting SGC after they rolled out the raw card review stuff at the National and said that they were going to have more show attendance. I thought maybe they would attend. I do know they were at Dallas, but they didn't do the raw card there. So that kind of surprised me. I do know Peter has mentioned that they were moving to a new facility, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But I was kind of surprised that there was no other companies there. You know, HGA and Beckett are both kind of holding on by a thin thread, so to speak. Real quick, and I'll try to pop these up if I can, because I wanted to have this up and dingy me forgot. Give me 1 second here. So GemRate posted their numbers for the week, and just speaking on this real quick. So Certified Collectible, which is CSG and CGC, they came in at 30,500 for the last week. SGC came in at 22,300. Beckett came in at 13,100. PSA was still having, they're still having great weeks. They were at 267,800. So they're still easily on pace for 1 million cards for the month. Now, a key thing here that's interesting to note when you look at this, for sports and miscellaneous, so SGC, as I said, did 22,300, but 20,800 of that is sports and miscellaneous. Beckett only did 8,800 sports and miscellaneous, and CSG only did 5,700. So SGC has a large chunk now. They're solidified as the second company easily now for volume on sports cards, which is, what most of the folks who watch or do content about, unless they're specifically into TCGs or something else, most channels are talking specifically sports cards. So at this moment, SGC has clearly, in fact, they had a 34% increase on the sports miscellaneous. All other companies actually declined for the week. PSA went down 7%. CSG declined 43%. Beckett stayed, it says, flat at 8,800. So that's pretty interesting to note. Now, at the show, I'll share a little bit. I don't know the truth to it, but I kind of went over and peeped into HGA's ear to just see what was going on over there. I was told they're doing like 7,000 to 12,000 a month. I have heard that is false, and I don't know truth or tale to that, but that's what I was told. 7,000 to 12,000 a month that HGA is doing. And they also told me that they are, because I was honest with them. I told them I didn't care for their slab. I was just, curious to see if they'd tell me their monthly numbers. But they're supposedly changing sometime soon from an acrylic slab to a polycarbonate slab. So I don't know if that'll help folks out or not. But anyway, just letting y'all know that. Beckett, it was tough to tell what their demand was at the show because they do a lot of the autograph authentication, but they were accepting submissions to take back as well. But I cannot sit here and honestly tell you what the demand was like based on, how much of it was autographs, how much of it was cards. I don't know. So I'm not even going to pretend to even go that route. One thing I do want to talk about, and I always try to keep it real, and if folks haven't realized this yet, even though I am a bulk submitter for SGC, I will say if I hear things or, think things should change or what have you. There was something very interesting that kept, not from me necessarily personally, but I heard it a few times throughout the weekend. There was a lot of talk, early on, I would say early 2020, mid 2020, maybe even to early 2021, before things really started to change and people really started accepting SGC. There was always a lot of talk out there. Dealers won't buy SGC. Dealers can't sell SGC, what have you. There was something I kept hearing, and I don't know if it's due to the market and like where pricing is on cards or where dealers are trying to, I hate to keep beating this into the ground, but overpricing their stuff. But I heard a lot of dealers say that they didn't want SGC, and the reason that I kept hearing was they didn't know how to price it. And now, I'm not saying this is on ultra modern stuff, because I think the ultra modern SGC market is pretty solidified. I think it's more on rare stuff, and like maybe in that 2015 to 1990s stuff, mid 90s stuff. I don't know exactly where to place the timing on it. But like I was hearing folks say, well, Beckett had a sale on this and PSA had a sale on this, but I don't see a legitimate or a recent enough SGC sale to feel comfortable pricing it. And I'm wondering if that's where we're at right now with a lot of the hesitation, if it's going back to where it was before. The ultra modern volume is probably pretty good because of the turnaround time. So any of your 2018, 19, 2020, 2021 stuff, all that newer stuff is probably flowing through, and there's probably enough population in SGC slabs. Obviously, they're still getting vintage cards. There's never an issue in vintage. But the ultra modern stuff, I think you're going to be okay on. It's that quirky middle area between the vintage and the late modern, ultra modern stuff, where I think there's a little bit of a lull, a problem. There's not enough data out there with pricing for dealers to feel comfortable. They don't know what to buy at. They don't know what they can sell at. And it's just based solely, dealers will still want Beckett, even though Beckett's not really doing many cards right now. It's a weird spot, and I'm just discussing this because I don't want this flaming, pattern to come up again and being like, well, yeah, SGC's getting your stuff back, but I can't sell them. Let's face it. If you're spending money to grade your cards and you can't sell them, then that does no good, right? But I don't think it's going to be with ultra modern stuff. I think that market's going to be fine. Dealers' cases, to be honest, they had everything. There was PSA, obviously. There was some Beckett. There was a good amount of SGC. There was CSG. And there even was HGA and ISA and some of your other brands. So, there was a good spread of showing across all companies in cases. The funny thing is, some dealers that were not wanting to buy SGC, they even said that they submit with SGC. It was just those particular cards, they didn't know how to price them, so they didn't want to get themselves into something because they weren't too sure where to price it at. They also admitted they didn't know comfortably where to price based on comparison of BGS or PSA. A lot of folks still aren't recognizing that SGC on resale value a lot of times now is exceeding over BGS prices. So I think we're in this little weird lull period. There still needs to be adjusting even on raw cards, so don't think it's just graded stuff. We know that the raw stuff it's having some difficulty with pricing, and I think all of this is throwing a wrench into the graded card stuff even more. Personally, I did not go into the show looking to sell a ton of stuff. I took one of the small SGC boxes with me. I had some hockey cards in it that I was offering to a dealer that I seen on Friday. I knew he was big into hockey. He actually is the same guy that took my Cale Makar gold label off me. So I knew he was into hockey. Now, I didn't work a deal with him. He was kind of hesitant on buying a lot right now. He also said, and he made this comment, that he sells a lot on Whatnot, and he never knows what SGC and stuff's going to bring on Whatnot. I don't know if that's another little twist to what the dealers are looking at when they're buying. I mentioned this in one of the recap videos. I've never really heard dealers talk about buying inventory for whatnot. And maybe that's part of the issue. They weren't really looking to buy stuff to move there at the show. If they were buying, they were going to take it home, set up, and sell and whatnot. And they wanted the stuff that they knew that was going to be hot on there, maybe. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I know there's some other shows coming up. Interesting to hear if it's the same vibe at other shows, or was it just, maybe this is Chantilly because there's a mixture of heavy presence of vintage as well as ultra modern and other stuff. So I'm really curious to see, because it's crazy to me, like the growth in volume. Everybody's sending stuff in now, but then to hear it, like for the longest time, I never had anybody I didn't hear anybody say, "Oh, I won't buy SGC." So it was very interesting to hear that again pop back up like this little gremlin, in discussions. So let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. Have you heard this at other shows recently? If this was back in 2021 or something, I don't care. Because again, I was hearing it in videos or in chats or what have you. But me personally, I was not having any trouble selling anything. Again, please note, I only offered to my hockey to the one dealer. I was not trying to move this stuff because I knew dealers were going to be soft on buying prices anyway. So I didn't even want to deal with that. And plus, I knew I could sell this. The stuff I had, I can sell elsewhere easily. So, but anyway, I wanted to share that with everybody. That's kind of where we're at. Beckett and HGA was at the show. Didn't really see much that I can speak on at either table. HGA wasn't busy, and Beckett I can't comment because I know a lot of their attendance was for autographs. So as far as dealers, they all had. It was like a mixture of all kinds of slabs there, so there was no lack of pretty much any of the companies, really. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoy this. I thank you again to everybody that's been watching the previous videos. I really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoy this one. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and until the next video, I'm out.